Hey, what's happening here? This is Barry from Anglesey. I'm going to build a spear tip. I've had some people ask me how to build my spear tips, and I'm going to do one. Got some duct tape of various colors, black athletic tape. You can get this from a pharmacy. A pair of scissors, tape measure or ruler of some kind, strapping tape. I prefer the Scotch shipping tape. You see it, it's the wide stuff with the like sort of cross fibers in it. Sharpie may be of help. Some basic glue foam. You get this from REI. You can get this from Amazon. I think you get this stuff from Walmart. This stuff might actually come from Walmart. I don't know what thickness they call it, but it is about 3/8 of an inch thick. They may call it quarter, they may call it half. I have no idea. Sorry, I can't help you there. If someone knows, go in the comment section. I have a spear shaft. I like the red ones. These are probably about medium weight. You must have a PVC cap, Schedule 40 PVC cap on the tip. You do not need one on the butt of the spear, but basically what's gonna happen is we put this on, it's gonna wobble. Okay, so what you wanna do is you wanna take a roll of duct tape and keep putting duct tape around the shaft until it gets thicker and thicker and thicker, until it just barely fits on into like a press fit. I cut out a piece of blue foam in almost a rectangle. It's actually 4 inches long, 6.5 inches on the long side, 6 inches on the shorter side. That is going to wrap around here to sort of make the base. Okay, so this is the spear tip right here. Okay, and it's just a bunch of little foam circles. Okay, that's all it is. I've done different methods over time. I find that the stacking of the foam circles gives it the most support from bending over. I make these by basically taking a square. It's real simple. I just cut off the corners, just like this. Pretty basic, okay? When you look at this, you're gonna go, that's not round, okay? That's actually pretty ugly. Doesn't matter. Once you get the tape on there and start wrapping around, it's gonna round everything right out. So the first thing I do is I have my 4 by 6 by 6.5 piece of foam here. I've got 2 pieces of tape on it, and what I'm doing those 2 pieces of tape is I put this so it's flush with the cap. Okay, and I'm going to wrap the tape nice and tight around the shaft. Okay, so this thing's pretty rigid here. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and I'm going to roll it around. The longer end needs to be up by the cap. Okay, because the cap is going to have a little bit of a bigger diameter than the shaft, okay? And so it lines up. I want to have a really nice tight seam here. I don't want to have a gap. I want to have that line up perfectly. Pull this pretty tight. And this one I'm going to wrap pretty tight, okay? There's other pieces I'm going to wrap loosely, but this isn't hitting anybody. I don't mind if I compress the foam here. I'm going to pull it pretty tight. Pull around pretty tight. Okay, now I've got overlapping the shaft down here. I'm gonna squeeze it down to the shaft. Okay, and this is going to help keep this thing from sliding off. And I'm just basically going to wrap it over that piece of tape, okay, that's on the shaft. I'm gonna wrap this nice and tight. I don't really care how neat it looks, so I'm gonna flatten all that later. And all this stuff's gonna get beaten up pretty good. I probably have too much tape here. I don't need all that tape. I've got some strips of strapping tape here that I have cut out to 1 foot each. I'm gonna stick it on the top, make sure that it matches up. We tape this down, and I'm gonna lay it down pretty easily. I'm going to try to avoid compressing the foam. So you've got one piece that goes that way, and then I have another piece that goes to make a little cross here. Okay, my old system used to have to pull this tape pretty tight. I like this system much better. What I'm gonna do for the next circle is the tape, I'm actually gonna go, here I've got a cross, I'm gonna go diagonally across it. So I've got a little square up here for him, I'm gonna go diagonally across it now. Mainly just to make sure that the tape is even over everything and to cover what little gaps are gonna come between what little seams are gonna come between the tape. And it also helps round out those corners some. So this one's gonna cross over that. Again, Notice I'm not pulling it tight. I'm going nice and easy to keep from compressing the foam, okay? Really bend over much with just those layers of tape. That's all the tape I'm gonna put on here. Oh, and it's so nice and squishy. Look at that. Very good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take some strapping tape, just sort of wrap it around, again, to get, to stiffen up the walls a little bit, and to make sure there's no gaps in there. I'm gonna go about halfway down on this to cover the seam between the stacks of circles and the base. Okay. And one of the things I like to do is I like to go sort of in an angle. So I'm doing like a little spiral here. The main reason why I have black tape, actually the only reason why I have black tape, is because I like to have the tip black. Last thing you want is something that sticks out. I mean, you're probably even better off with a black tip altogether, or a red tip, probably a black tip. I don't think it's that important. I think it looks kind of cool to have my own personalized spear, so I'm willing to give up a little bit of incognito-ness, but last thing you want to have is a really bright color right on the tip. I've seen people with those, and as soon as their spear tip moves, I see it. It's just right there in the corner of your eye. You can't miss it. So I'm just basically taping over basically the part that's going to hit the person with black tape. Okay, so now my spear tip is black. Again, this is just the part where I try to personalize a little bit. I do want to say that I prefer the 2-inch or just slightly over 2-inch tips to the 3-inch tips for a couple reasons. One, I find the 2-inch tips slide into gaps a little bit better. I don't think they really hit any harder, at least not much. At least not if somebody's wearing armor. The armor spreads out anyway. But I also think the 3-inch tips are ugly. I mean, one of the things we're trying to do with this game is try to, you know, we're trying to make it look as realistic as possible. You know, and the 3-inch tips to me look a little bit like LARP weapons. No offense to the LARP community, but you know, that's a different game. And even I think you guys would prefer to have you know, realistic looking weapons if you could pull it off. It's just, you know, to make it safe, it's only so much we can do. But here we can make it safe with 2-inch tips. Let's see, a few things left. I might actually build a hook on this. So the end, I like to take the end and round up. I did this a while ago. I'm not gonna rebuild this. You can mess with your own thing. I usually layer up some pieces of lots of tape on here, maybe some foam I'll put in here, but something nice and round so that if it hits the palm, or if you got your hand on the back, okay, you're not gonna get the edge of the spear shaft ramming into your palm. Okay, let's put a little hook on here. This will give me just a little bit of a grabber, okay? And these I actually am going to tape down pretty hard. But one key to the hook is you want it on the bottom part of the spear. So you need to figure out how your spear likes to lay in your hand. And And my spear likes to land the hand this way. Every spear's got a little bit of curve in it. So it likes to lay in my hand this way, which means this is going to be the bottom, which means that's where my hook is going to go. There we go. Now we got a new spear tip. Spear tip with a little grabber hook on it.